Hello, everybody. Welcome to Secret Spaces. This is the November 1st edition, our first edition of November. So we're going to kick off here in just a sec. Today, we're featuring the Stashh app team. And as always, we have some folks here from the foundation as well. We're going to let the room fill up a little bit. Please share this link around a little bit. We have a lot to go through today because today is the first day of Stashh of the Day, which went live about an hour ago. We'll get into exactly what that means, what those are, and how you can get involved. But please do us a favor, share this link around to your communities. Just see if we can't pack the room here for the Stashh team and for all the amazing creators in the secret ecosystem. If you've been curious about secret NFTs, if you've been curious about Stashh, this is an awesome day for you. There's other big news from around the secret ecosystem today as well, as the Shade team just released some new information. You can go check them out, Shade Protocol on Twitter, Shade_protocol, and you'll see they've released some new information about ShadeSwap. So check that all out. You'll also notice there's a pinned tweet here, so check that out. Patrick just pinned it for us. Share that tweet. It includes a link to the spaces so that you can get your friends into this room with us. But then also there's a link to today's Secret Spaces badge. So not only can you be claiming the Stashh of the Day badge, you can be claiming the Secret Spaces badge like we do for every Secret Spaces. We'll reveal the claim code in just a moment. But I should point out, if you're thinking about claiming the Stashh of the Day badge, that doesn't require a claim code. You just need to show up. Every 24 hours, a new Freedom Mint badge. So we'll get into what that means in just a second. We'll kick off. All right, well, let's get started. We're 5 minutes after the hour. This is Secret Spaces. We do these every week, every Tuesday. We feature teams, builders, creators, thinkers from around the secret ecosystem, privacy-passionate people, people building cool stuff. This week, after we've been on, I think, a little bit of a DeFi kick, we've been getting back into the metaverse lately. So today, we're featuring the Stashh app team. And we're going to be talking about Stashh of the Day, which is running all month in November and also features a chance for people to win their share of $10,000 just for claiming badges. So let's get into that in just a second. I've invited a lot of the members of the Stashh team here up on stage, and we also have a team here. I've been trying to invite them up here, so if they want to request, they can, but I've been trying to send an invite. We've got the raccoons, who are featured in the very first Stashh of the Day badge. Let's do first intros from the Stashh team, and I'll go last, and then we'll pass it over to Raccoons to also do a quick intro before getting into the meat. So let me pass it first to the Stashh account.
Hello. I'm the Stashh account today. People have probably already met me. I'm Ollie, or scary looking, Stashh is the secret NFT marketplace. We just launched a load of really cool stuff, and we're looking forward to sharing it all with you today. I will point to Daedric.
All right, thank you, Ollie. Basically, I'm Daedric, one of the early community devs on Secret Network. Did some work on stuff like the SNP20 reference implementation and specification, various dev toolkit packages, stuff like that. And probably what I'm most known for at the moment, at least, is creating the secret NFT specification and reference implementation. And I also have basically done all the contract dev, so the stuff that runs on chain to make Stashh work under the hood.
Hi, my name is Clippard, and I'm one of the developers of Stashh. I take care of the app part and everything you see, while Bedrick takes part of everything contract-wise. So we basically invented secret NFTs, and I'm just here doing UI for that. But yeah, I'm excited about today because we've been trying to find the right way to promote badges and what they can do for a couple of months now, and that's why we decided to have this initiative. And I just hope that people find it useful, of all the product metadata part of things, and free to claims, so you could do giveaways or airdrops, stuff like that, right?
G'day, people. MC Liquid here. You might know me from our other project, the DJs of DGen, which we launched on Stashh, I guess a few months ago now. Recently joined the Stashh team to help with strategy and user growth and helping kick off Stashh of the Day. Excited to talk more about it.
Hey everyone, Casual Shrimp here. It's nice to see everyone here. I joined a couple months back. I help out support creators and collectors here at Stashh and Discord a lot, and it's been great interacting with everyone there. Really looking forward to connecting with all of the new people that I have yet to meet, and really appreciate you all for being here today. Thank you.
Well, that's everyone on Stashh team but myself. So this is Tor from the Secret Network official account. I'm at Secret Foundation, but I'm also a member of the Stashh team. And I've been helping scale the platform, scale adoption, scale the business of Stashh since late last year when the platform went live. We'll get into the whole history of the platform in just a little bit. But it's a joy to be able to work with all these people on a regular basis and to watch them scale all these amazing features and build out our artist community. I think this is the first time I think we finally feel like the platform has reached a very good stage of maturity and we're finally comfortable making a big push on the artist and community side, not only through the rest of this year, but well into 2023 as well. Sometimes NFT bear markets hit us all, but it doesn't impact that creators want to create. And I think that Stashh has provided a best-in-class platform for just that. And in fact, we have a little bit of alpha to share, not just about Stashh of the Day, but a little bit later on, we're going to be revealing something else that's coming in the month of November. Before we do that, though, let's get a quick intro from the Raccoons team as well, and then I'm going to reveal today's claim code for Secret Spaces. But go ahead, Raccoons.
Hi, guys. Thanks a lot for inviting us today. Very happy to be here and also be part of the Stashh of the Day. So basically, Raccoon Supply started as an NFT collection on Secret. It's basically AI-generated art. But now it is actually the Raccoon NFT DAO, which owns a gambling platform that is currently on Juno, but we plan on expanding on Secret as well. And so far, we've been exploring Secret to create our first game, which we wanted to be rock, paper, scissors, just to start it pretty easy. And then we want to go further and push it to blackjack. And we also developed the other contract for our NFT holders to basically claim their share of the revenues of the gambling platform. And yeah, I think it's pretty much it.
Amazing. Well, awesome to have you here. Awesome that you're part of the Secret community. Like I said, we're going to be placing a very large focus. We have a lot of things that are launching over the next months for communities on Secret. I do believe that privacy is absolutely essential if you're trying to do things like DAOs, if you're trying to do things like content creation and sharing, subscription products, all the things that are going to underlie Web3. Secret's an amazing foundation for that. Now it's just a matter of scaling that user base, and that comes with scaling our creator base. So thank you for being a part of the ecosystem, and thanks for showing a path forward for the platform. With all that said, we're 13 minutes in. You've all been very patient, so it's time to share today's claim code for the Secret Spaces secret badge. No relation to the Stashh of the Day, but today's secret badge for the Secret Spaces does have a claim code, and that claim code is, and it may not surprise you, Stashh of the Day. But you got to make sure you spell it right. STASHH of the day is today's claim code. All capital letters, all one word. You can put that in for your claim code. Prove that you were here on today's Secret Spaces. This is a special Secret Spaces badge because it's coming out on the very same day as the very first Stashh of the Day badge. So pretty cool to collect both of them in one day, if you ask me. Go and take care of that right now. Again, you can see the pinned tweet here in the space. Click through, claim your badge, and just make sure you do it before they expire. So with all that said, I think it's time to get into what Stashh is. So we'll talk about what Stashh is and what secret NFTs are. We'll go into a little bit of the history of the platform, and then we'll start talking about Stashh of the Day specifically. So I'll start off just talking about what Stashh even is. Stashh is a secret app, first and foremost. We leverage a lot of the features of secret network, meaning this whole privacy by default idea. And privacy by default doesn't mean that things can't be public. It just means we've built a foundation where anything can be private. And that makes secret network different from any chain like Ethereum, a chain like Solana, Juno, really any chain, any blockchain, because we're the first layer one blockchain that has managed to create private by default smart contracts that have encrypted state. You can have encrypted inputs and outputs, encrypted metadata for NFTs. That's a really powerful primitive that Stashh has leveraged to create a marketplace, although much more than a marketplace now, but an entire platform for non-fungible tokens that have privacy by default. And if you want to turn that more into like Web 2.0 language, what you're looking at is a marketplace for things like exclusive content, or a marketplace where you have fully customizable profiles, where you can have unique digital collectibles that you can put up for sale on private auctions. And all of this is decentralized. We're not relying on centralized servers for securing things like private metadata. All of this is being mediated by the blockchain itself, meaning that assets you buy on Stashh, that you create on Stashh, you know can be used anywhere else on Secret Network and beyond. You don't have to worry that the platform is somehow going to take it away from you, that your exclusive content is going to be revoked. So it is more like true ownership than really any other platform. That's what secret NFTs give you. And Stashh is just trying to be the very best platform for creating and minting and exploring and discovering this type of NFT, this type of digital collectible that we see as being much more sustainable, much more powerful than anything else that's being tried in the NFT space. And it's very early days, even though the platform has been live for quite a while. But we know we're early. Just like OpenSea was early in 2018 when they were really just seen as like a CryptoKitties platform. And everybody was like, why is anybody going to use this if I'm only going to trade digital cats? Well, obviously they knew, and we know, that NFTs are much more and can be and will be so much more than they are today. But we do think that privacy by default is the feature that unlocks all that power. So with that said, that's what Stashh is. Let's talk a little bit about secret NFTs and how they got created. For that, I'm going to pass it over to Bedrick, who's really responsible for the creation of secret NFTs. So Bedrick, tell us a little bit about how you got started even building secret NFTs and how that turned into Stashh.
Sure. Basically, that started because, as I mentioned earlier, I was one of the early community devs. And because one of the things I was just kind of contributing some PRs to happened to be the SNP20 reference implementation, which SNP20 is basically the fungible token specification and implementation on Secret Network. So just having, I guess, wet my feet, if you will, on tokens in general, when basically I started doing some dev on things that use the SNP20s. So like one of the early, I think, hackathon projects was like the OTC sealed bid auctions for SNP20s. And while doing that, I immediately felt that basically the secret swap, which was going to be released in, say, another month or two after the hackathon, would most likely have all the volume for SNP20s, but I immediately saw the potential of a marketplace for the equivalent of an ERC 721 on Secret Network. And so really that was all just kind of, I guess, a precursor to what would later become Stashh, and also like what would later become the SNP 721 standard. And so just because of my interest in that, that's basically what led me to create SNP 721, also known as secret NFTs. And I guess in general, a brief description of what that really is. So secret NFTs or SNP 721s are based off of CosmWasm NFT specification, which in turn is based off of the ERC 721 specification. And the main difference is that, because this is on Secret Network and we can leverage the privacy that Secret Network provides, you have the ability to have private ownership and as well as private metadata, which just wasn't possible on any other chain. And so private ownership is pretty obvious as to what benefits that has. But as far as private metadata, some of the things that allows you to do, for example, would be like it was mentioned a little bit earlier by Tor, you could have exclusive content. So like an example of that would be, let's say you were producing music NFTs. If everything was public, it's a little bit harder to sell if you're giving away your entire song because it's all public. Whereas what you could do here is you could just, give a couple second sample so people have an idea of what they're buying, but they actually don't get to unlock and reveal the entire song until they purchase it. Same thing applies for, I guess an adult creator could have a suitable for work public image and a not suitable for work private image that doesn't get unlocked until someone actually purchases the NFT. It also has great use cases for gaming, like if you were creating a card game and wanted to have hidden abilities that are only revealed to the owner and also to the game, of course. And then also, of course, more fundamental things is that, like, when you think of NFTs, really it's just a specification to encapsulate data in a standardized way of being processed. So that being the case, you really can think of, okay, any data that you would want to keep private and perhaps wrap it in an envelope that could be usable on multiple platforms is something that you could utilize a secret NFT to do. So, that introduces things like maybe you have sensitive info that you want to use for like identity authorization or something like that, perhaps one platform is creating the ID pass, if you will, but other platforms can just plug in and use that. So those are some of the benefits of having, this privacy capable NFT that just wasn't available on other blockchains. So obviously, after creating the specification and the implementation for secret NFTs, you really can't have an NFT ecosystem without a marketplace. So that was the first and foremost, I guess, project that I took on afterwards, was just building the contracts to enable a secret NFT marketplace, which we all now know is named Stashh. And basically coming together with a great team. Don't know if who we're going to pass it on to next, but I think Clipart's probably a good candidate, since he basically built everything that is the UI and everything that you see.
I agree. That's a good place to go. And I was gonna take us back in time, maybe to the mainnet launch. Clipart, if you want to talk about the mainnet launch of Stashh and just some of the features that have been built for Stashh along the way. Everything from auctions to gumballs, and I think it's really useful to go over the whole arc of history.
For sure, yeah. I mean, just to start, the mainnet. The mainnet launch was a bit rough, like every mainnet launches, but it went okay. And on the first day, we had a buy and sell NFT feature, and that's about it, honestly. And then we just kept growing the features over time. We basically did 1 year, a 1 year anniversary, like 2 days ago or something like that. So in between this time, we had a couple of features, obviously. One of the few is auctions, a gumball machine, which is basically a way for you to, as a creator, create not a lottery, but something that spits out random NFTs that you created. So this is a pretty cool way to do primary sales, right? If you want to do a 10K collection, you put all the 10K NFTs in that gumball machine, add a price. You can add a pre-sale price, whitelisted addresses, and go live with it. Once people click buy, they will get one of the 10,000 NFTs randomly. So we also have, since everything is private by default, and you can opt in to show what NFTs you own or to show a specific user what NFTs you own. We also had that feature where you could basically show the creator that you now own one of the NFTs that he created. And allowing him to know this, he can now give airdrops, giveaways, or some context to the owners that have their NFT. So that's a pretty cool way to give out prices and stuff, right? So, and as a creator, all you need to do is just navigate to the manage collection and print out the lists of users that allowed you to know what NFTs they own. So more, I want to talk a bit about what's coming next. That's probably a Thor's thing to do, but we're about to launch some other features that were very much requested since day one, and obviously we don't. It's a pretty consuming work to try to navigate through the old secret network difference from any other marketplace, like the private metadata, the private ownership, like the user flow in general feels a lot more different than other marketplaces where everything is public. So the features may take more time than expected, but I mean, I'm pretty proud of what we already built in 1 year, and what we already have planned to the future, right? So, but yeah, I don't think I'm missing any other feature, or probably I am. There's a lot more stuff, well, not NFT related, but as social marketplace in general. You can link your Discord, get achievements by doing stuff. For instance, for the Stashh of the day, you have 3 achievements to get, or 4. The first one being claiming any badge, but that doesn't require to be a Stashh of the day badge. It's just basically any badge created on the marketplace. And the other 3 achievements, which are directly linked to the Stashh of the Day event, are don't really remember the names, but I think it's Rookie Claimer, where you need to claim 3 badges of the day, and you get a Discord role, where you can opt in to show that Discord role on our Discord server, obviously. So everything starts as private by default. But all you need to do is just opt in to show that Discord role. And then the second achievement is Pro Claimer, which is 10 claims, I think. And the third one is the Gen, which is 15 claims. It gives you a Discord role and also gives you Stashh gems, where they can also, right now they can't be used much for normal users, only creators, where a creator needs to have a Stashh gem, so he allows the claimers to claim for free. But for normal users, people that are here just claiming and buying NFTs or not creating anything, they have a special feature that's coming soon, where we are going to do special Stash auctions that are only biddable with the Stash gems, rewarded Stash gems, I may add. So you can't really buy said gems to bid. You can only bid with the rewarded gems you got from winning achievements or claiming stuff or validating with us. That's another thing. We have a validator where you can get Stash gems for validating with us. And yeah, so basically that special Stash auction is going to be for blue chip NFTs, if you want to call it. Yeah, we will choose one randomly each week and have people bid on it. Whoever bids highest gets the NFT, basically, for 24 hours. I don't know. So yeah, that's the social aspect of the marketplace in general. And we are trying to push that as well, because I think we pivot a little bit from a general marketplace where you can buy, sell, auction, and offer, and be more of a social platform on top of that. Just because the private metadata aspect of the NFTs actually allow to create content a little bit different from everything else, right? Where you can giveaways and stuff like that, and only people that have certain NFTs have a piece of data that is only accessible to them. So it's yeah, that's why we are trying to push the social aspect of it. But
there's an inherent social aspect to every marketplace. This is something we talk a lot about at Stashh, which is if you are trying to have creators and you're trying to have collectors, that's already social. You know, Twitter is social because somebody creates something and a lot of people read it. Facebook is the same. Instagram is the same. We call all of these social platforms. And the way that we see Stashh is like it's a great place not only to create, but also to collect. The marketplace is really just a marketplace of art, a marketplace of ideas. And privacy is essential to that. And Stashh is a platform where you really have incredible creator tools, more on that in a moment, but also great tools for collectors. There's just that much more flexibility. So I think really every marketplace is and should think about itself as a social platform. I just don't think that every marketplace has necessarily thought about it that way. And so therefore they end up prioritizing the financial aspects of the platform a little bit more, which works really well in a bull market at zero rates, but is not terribly sustainable in a bear market where people do still want to create and collect and connect, but they might not be able to make 100x their money. And something else we've noticed, of course, is that in other L1 ecosystems where there's a lot of old money, so to speak, like people who are holding a lot of ETH, who go way back, you know, they have a lot of latent potential energy in the capital that exists there. So people are willing to gamble and speculate with that capital. But what happens is you just get whale groups. So a lot of these NFT ecosystems on other networks are run by a bunch of very rich people who essentially have a cabal that decides what art gets popular and when. And when you're building something like secret NFTs, it's not really interesting to try to compete with that because those people are not going to leave the network where they have the most market power, where they can already force things to be popular just by virtue of making them expensive. It's much more interesting to build communities of artists who have not had platforms and give them a platform and give them an audience and the ability to build an audience, public or private, that values their work and create those valuable connections. That's definitely how we see Stashh. That's definitely how we see the value of privacy in underlying platforms like that. And it's exciting to see the community forming where they feel exactly the same way. Now it's just up to us to help build a lot of the tools that they're going to use. So thank you for the overview. I think with that, we're ready to jump directly into Stashh of the Day and the thinking around Stashh of the Day. So what is Stash of the Day? All Stash of the Day is a campaign to introduce people to features that already existed on Stash, but that maybe not everybody was using or familiar with. It's a way to get people passionate again about some of the features that are possible on the platform. And it's running for an entire month just so we have enough time to feature as many people as we want, not just inside the secret ecosystem, but all around it. If you want to learn more about Stash of the Day, while I'm talking also, Patrick has just pinned the Stash of the Day tweet here from the Stash account. You can click through it. You can see the blog post with the announcement. You can learn more about how to claim the Stash of the Day badge and what it could mean for you, how you can unlock roles and gems and rewards and things like that. But the most important thing about this is that we're doing it every single day. Daily engagement is critical, especially when you start to think about marketplaces and Stash in particular as a social platform. You want to be places where you're going to show up every day. You know everybody else is showing up every day. There's things to talk about. There's things to build, things to discuss. That's what creates a passionate community. And we want Stash to be a place where that can happen. Again, a lot of marketplaces don't think about themselves as communities. They think about themselves as commodities. You're going and you're just trying to find a good price, right? It's Craigslist might not think of itself as a social platform, but you know that if you need to go buy something, I'm making a very US centric analogy right now, but Craigslist is basically a site where you can go and everything is for sale and there's lots of buyers. It's just a very broad and engaging marketplace, but it's not a social platform. But social platforms are really the key. And I do believe that the next wave of Web3 adoption will come through alternative Web3 native social platforms. We're starting to see this with Twitter now being owned by Elon Musk. And so what we're doing with Stash of the Day is we are trying to allow anybody to come and claim their very first badge, engage with the platform every single day, featuring a new creator from any ecosystem, and it's a free to mint badge. You don't have to pay something just to show up, because you don't have to pay something just to show up to most social platforms. You come, you go, you claim the badge, you get to unlock the private metadata. And in doing so, you get this really cool experience where something that was private is now made public, but only to you. So you're in on a secret. So for example, with today's Stash of the Day, there's the public metadata of the badge, but you'll notice the public metadata is kind of dark, kind of dim. If you claim the badge, you will then unlock the private metadata, and now you're really getting the full experience of owning that badge. It's something that's known to you. That badge can be something that you choose to display publicly if you choose to put it on your public Stash profile, or it's something you can own completely privately, and you can still use it for utility if you want to be part of a community, if you want to use it to log into some application and prove ownership, prove support of this particular thing. That's what a secret badge allows you to do. So the Stash of the Day is just every single day, we're going to partner with an artist, a collection, a creator, launch something that features their work. And you, the community, get to come enjoy that and have it on your profile or not, but always be able to get at the private metadata that's inside. You get to talk about that artist. You get to experience what it's like to be collecting and not be told, you have to pay $10,000 to collect this thing. It's valuable because it's only available for a day. It's valuable because there's something private inside that not everybody gets to see, only the owners. It's not valuable because you had to already be rich to get it. And we're going to do that every single day. The incentive for this, not just what I said, but there's also some extrinsic incentives here. We're pretty excited to be doing a large giveaway over the course of the month. So just in case it wasn't interesting enough to you already, we are giving away a share of $10,000 just for claiming these free to mint badges. So imagine if you could get your share of $10,000 just for showing up and tweeting. It's kind of the same thing. In this case, it's kind of for showing up and even reading people's tweets. We're doing this because we really just want people to feel what it's like to experiment with these things. We want them to give us their feedback about how does it feel to be interacting with secret NFTs, with free to mint badges. Maybe it'll inspire people to create their own. That's what we're hoping happens. And we're happy to put our money where our mouth is and tell people we think this is going to be really fun. Let's give you a little extra incentive to have fun with us. And in addition, as Clipart was saying, we have roles that get linked on Discord to your Stash profile that you can win. There's gems, which is our on-platform currency currently for Stash, that can be redeemed for things like mint costs if you want to be a creator. They can be redeemed for other things on platform very shortly. Again, more to come on that. But excited to have a number of different things that you can unlock just for doing these free to mint claims. We definitely encourage everybody who's listening, if you're not already, to join the Stashh Discord. You can go to stashh.io. So chat.stashh.io, but use 2 H's in Stashh. And that's the Discord. You can come talk to the team there, talk to other collectors, talk to creators. That's going to be the home for Stashh always, and that's definitely the home for the Stashh of the Day, not competition, but just the Stashh of the Day initiative. Come there. If you're having any problems at all, the team will help you out. If you're having issues creating, collecting, we've got you. And if you just want to meet other creators and collectors, they're all there. So lots of incentives to do it. And of course, if you collect all 30, I'm pretty sure we're going to find ways to reward you for that. There's definitely some roles to unlock, but probably more. And every single badge that you claim, of course, is an entry into the Stashh of the Day. So there's a little bit more to say about that, just what it's going to take to qualify for the giveaway part of it. Before we get to that, I want to turn it over to MC Liquid, because he's been helping out with a lot of artist recruitment, making sure we're featuring the best artists, not just on Secret, but everywhere in the ecosystem. Who's participating, and what has the response from artists been like when you've been trying to talk to them about Stashh of the Day?
Yeah, I think it's a fairly novel thing that we're doing. I haven't seen it in the market. I think badges are. I guess. For one of the better term, I think the way we've been positioning it is, our badge is basically our version of a POAP, right? So I think it's a challenge just describing, okay, what is it we're trying to do, and I think because we're reaching outside of Secret, in not only in Secret but all the Cosmos related projects, and then looking at even some of the bigger ecosystems like Ethereum and Solana. Generally it's a positive response, but a lot of it's like, okay, well, explain more. What does that mean? What does that entail? So I think the way we've been positioning to them, hey, look, it's basically featured artist of the day, right? So we're incentivizing people to engage with you by doing a certain action. And I've reached out. I was actually focused broadly on projects, but then I saw, what, actually the bigger opportunity is to get is also to get very personal with a lot of the creators. And the creators is sort of a in itself sort of a broad term. So what does that mean? So there's art, there's music, and then there's sort of mixed media. So I think there's a lot of potential to really get people engaged with creative assets, whereas before, and I don't know what the mix is, but my feeling is that there's a lot of people that were just really just minting to flip, right? Just like any other asset, looking to get upside on it. Now in this market, I think we have an opportunity to really kind of grow that relationship, not only from us from a platform perspective, but also with the creator and collectors, people that just find value in the things that they're collecting from these creators. So reaching out to them, and then basically cross-pollinating audiences. Hey, look, come out, come expose yourself to an audience, on our platform, on our ecosystem, and learn about what we're doing. But we get to learn about you as an artist, and it's either side. There's no cost to entry. There's no barrier to entry. So I think really getting people involved and engage with a new way rather than a pay to play. And I think we'll find out, in short order, if we have something. But I think it's compelling, because it's not something that that's being done so far right now, especially now. And I think we'll dive into this a little bit in a little bit. Is what's happening in the wider ecosystem, in with NFTs in general. But I would say overall pretty good. I think we have some really interesting artists. It's amazing when you start deep diving into a lot of these marketplaces, what's on offer. Like a lot of it's just boundless, creative output, and it's so easy to get lost in the noise. And I think this is a great way to sort of bring people and put some into the forefront. That's hard to do on scale, but I think it's interesting at least to start that process and a curation, if you will, of what's out there. So excited to sort of to bring those people that we're going to bring in from other places onto the Stashh marketplace. But I would say broadly that's who's participating, and maybe Casual Shrimp. I thought, well, we already touched on the Discord, Twitter. Maybe Tor, we can sort of talk about the broader ecosystem. Like I think this is an interesting topic we can dig into for a little bit, just to sort of meet
with a note that we've got about 15 minutes to the top of the hour. So I know we're sprinting a little fast through some of this, and we always want to leave a little time for questions. The other thing I want to make sure we get to is the raccoons who've been sitting here patiently all day. So why don't we actually turn for a second? We can do that at the end of this space. Like if there's not a lot of questions as well, I would love to get into that with you, and we can run a little over. But since we have the raccoons up here, and since you and Ollie helped them get online with their very first badge here for Stashh of the Day, let's talk about that. So raccoons, go ahead and tell us like what was it like getting your badge up here? What was the experience like? How are you liking it? Have you claimed your own badge yet?
Yeah, so we've already claimed our badges. We were waiting like 10 seconds before the claim timer was ending. So everyone in the team claimed their badge. And yeah, it was pretty easy to actually like provide our badge, and like you guys made it pretty seamless. And maybe a few things that is pretty nice too is like we decided to call it like a citizen of Rackville, and basically this came from the community itself. Like from the start, that was our goal, to make sure that everyone can participate in the collection, and like they feel like they're part of a family or community. And I feel like it actually worked. Like people feel like they're part of a family, and like with this badge, like they were so we're a citizen of Rackville. And I think it's also worth mentioning, we've also been leveraging Stashh for other type of things. We have like a collection where someone made music from us, so it's an NFT with music that we have on Stashh as well. And we also have like an NFT collection that's for the community, where people can just customize their current NFT, just put their name on top of it. And this has been made possible via the community and with the Lil Games that takes care of making the tat that we call. So I feel like the badge have a very big background, and it was very, very easy to implement with you guys' team and stuff. So yeah, very happy to be there today and be actually like the first badge of the day. It was, pretty nice.
Well, we're super thrilled to be helping you guys out getting the Stashh of the Day live. And just in case, I think we're at that time where we usually restate the claim code as well. So if you haven't claimed the Stashh of the Day yet today, there's still time. Click through to the links that are in the Stashh of the Day blog post. But also, you can claim today's Secret Spaces badge like you can all the time. So today's Secret Spaces badge, use the claim code Stashh of the Day. Remember that Stashh has 2 H's. Stashh of the Day is the claim code for today's Secret Spaces badge. But if you want to claim the Raccoons badge, the 001 Stashh of the Day badge, that does not require a claim code. I just want to warn you that it's going to expire after the first 24 hours, and then you'll never be able to claim it again. That's it. It's gone. You'll be able to claim badge number 2, maybe badge number 3. But if you don't get in there and claim the Raccoons badge sometime in the next, I think about 22 hours now, that badge is gone, never to be seen again. These are also non-transferable badges. They are soul-bound. So you can't go and decide later, you know what, I really like the Raccoons. I'm just going to go get it from somebody else. No, that doesn't work. You got to like them now, and you got to go claim it. And that way they'll know that you were OG supporters of the Raccoons on this day one of Stashh of the Day. And we will know that you were day one supporters of the Stashh of the Day campaign. And you'll be the very first people who are getting their entries into this big giveaway. So we're super thrilled to be kicking that off. Super thrilled we got as many Stashh folks up here on stage as possible. And with 10 minutes left in the space, please stick your hands up. Let's get questions up here on stage. If you've got questions about Stashh, Stashh of the Day, Raccoons, anything else, bring that up. At the very end of the space, we'll also leave a second so that we can hit you with some calls to action for Stashh, so that the Raccoons can hit you with some calls to action for the Raccoons. While While we're waiting for people to ask questions, though, I did have one last piece of alpha. It has been teased, it has been promised. So here we go. We are here in the month of November working on Stash of the Day. It's going to run all month. Also in the month of November, we are finally, yes, finally, opening permissionless minting. Anybody will be able to mint on Stash. To this point, creators have had to apply. We've been helping them, we've been hand-holding them, but now we're pretty sure, thanks to all the work of everybody you see up here on stage, we are pretty sure that things are awesome enough that anybody anywhere, we're going to throw open the doors. You can come mint your own badges. That's right. So you can create your own collections, your own gumballs, your own auctions, and your own badges. Badges being really exciting. Anybody can create their own free to mint badges. So essentially anybody creating their own private POAPs, as it were. I think that's awesome. And I can't wait to see the kind of experimentation that comes out of this. We would love to feature artists who are using the platform in the most creative ways. And to this point, that's been pretty tightly held, but no longer. Now, in the month of November, anybody is going to be able to mint whatever they want on Stash. And we not only want to be the best platform for collecting and curating your profile and discovering artists, we also want to be the best creator platform that exists in Web3 so that people can take advantage of all of these awesome privacy features. So with that said, I think that's pretty compelling alpha. Hopefully any artists who are listening, or just any end user who's listening, who wants to start experimenting with this stuff, hopefully this is compelling to you. This does mean we're expecting a lot more content on the platform. It also means, usually when things like that happen, there's a little bit of a glut of content. It's harder to do things like curation, but don't worry, we are thinking a lot about that. So it'll be interesting to see how, as we get more artists on the platform, creators on the platform, once every collector can be a creator with the launch of permissionless minting, it's going to be really fun to see how people start curating work on the platform, how people start discovering different artists, how people start setting up their profiles. It is planned to be a very social experience, and it's all leveraging, again, the power of the layer one. Everything that Secret Network gives you, building on that private by default foundation, is essential to how Stash is architected as a platform. And we're super excited to take some of that stuff live. So that's also in November, a very exciting month for Stash and Secret more generally. So hopefully that was worth the 50-minute wait into this space to find out. But you'll hear more about that extremely soon. Also, you should not expect this to be on November 30th, right? We're not going to wait all month to do this. We kind of want this to go live as soon as possible. So stay tuned and follow the Stash account. It's up here on stage. Also, obviously, follow the Secret Network account because we're going to be sharing news from all over the ecosystem this month. We also mentioned, of course, that Shade Protocol, another dApp on Secret, had a big announcement today about Shade Swap. Make sure you're checking out Shade. We'll be featuring them soon on Secret Spaces. I think they'll be a part of next week's Secret Spaces, in fact, when we're also featuring the Stride team. So lots of S-related applications that we're going to be featuring here on Secret Spaces over the course of this month. So with that alpha leaked, if there aren't any questions, I'm waiting for hands, and I'm not seeing a ton of hands. So if there's not a ton of hands, we can go back to what MC Global wanted to talk about, which is kind of the state of the overall NFT market before going and closing off. So yeah, we were about to get into it. I mean, we have seen a pretty massive correction from a price standpoint. From an engagement standpoint, I do think, however, we're seeing a lot of green shoots from a lot of different ecosystems, and a lot of those green shoots is what we're trying to feature with Stash of the Day. So what are your thoughts on that, MC?
Yeah, look, I think it's typical bear market behavior. People are just trying to find relevance when overall volume, is down, specifically NFT volume down 98, 99%. So you're going to find a lot of these platforms really experimenting on the edges. And I think that's good. It's good for everybody, right? So you have to find value in new ways. OpenSea was well positioned, having had the foresight to see that NFT was going to be a big boon. And they've captured a lot of that value because they were first to market with that idea. Now, sort of their lunch is starting to get eaten, right? So you have all these other competing platforms, and everybody's just sort of copy pasta, different features and what have you. So you now have to figure out, okay, now what's the point of difference? What are we going to do? How can we add value? And I think that's tangibly, tied to what we're doing with Stash of the Day. Is like, how do we create value and stickiness and some kind of engagement that is, not fundamentally, a transaction. So I think exploring those edges and what that means for the end user, like how do we bring a little bit more meaning to what we're doing? Not to sound too, wish-washy about it, but I think really if you're providing a good value, then that long term is not just growth for the platform, but it's value for everybody involved in it. So I don't know, Tor, maybe you have some thoughts on that.
Well, also, if anybody else on stage has thoughts on that, because I feel like I've been holding the mic for quite a while.
Yeah, I tend to chunter on, so I'm careful to self-moderate too, man. I could talk endlessly about it. I mean, I think it's a deeply fascinating topic. I mean, it's what I love about excuse me, what I love about NFTs is we've barely scratched the surface. We started obviously, just with a juggernaut of PFPs coming out the door. I think that era is over. Now, NFTs. I think a lot of generally people underappreciate the impact NFTs are going to have going forward. That essentially anything can be an NFT. Great, fantastic, highly recommended podcast with Raul Powell and Punk6529, where they go into the rabbit hole of what I sort of had my big NFT moment this year, even though in the midst of my own project. If everybody remembers a Bitcoin moment, which then brought them into crypto and sort of all the alts and what have you. What I love about that conversation is they really expand on the impact that NFTs will have. And the world, I think succinctly, the world is more non-fungible than fungible.
I mean, it really is. And actually, that's kind of what we've talked about in the fungible token space. In fact, fungible tokens essentially become non-fungible on public by default blockchains because their entire history is public. So, one Bitcoin does not really equal one other Bitcoin if you can see that it's been associated with some sort of account that's been, sanctioned in the past, or if it's one of the first mined Bitcoins. Like these fungible, nominally fungible things really do have that kind of history. In fact, we've talked before on Secret Spaces about the link between privacy and fungibility. And it was a big topic on my podcast that I did with Charlie Lee, talking about the link between privacy and fungibility. So now we have a different degree of programmability for privacy with non-fungible tokens, where we're saying because they have private by default ownership, that adds a little bit of fungibility in a sense, because if they're all minted and they're all privately owned and can always be transferred to a new account, breaking the link of ownership, you lose that piece of non-fungibility. Instead, the non-fungibility of the asset comes down to how many exist, but also what's represented in the private metadata. What could be inside of it that's private only to the owner. There's this additional degree. And I think that actually starts to feel a lot more like our assets in the real world. They're scarce, not only because only so many of them exist, but so many of them are in our house versus not in our house. The fact that you can own something privately in Web3 has not been something possible. And so we're really looking to explore that, not because we think it's some crazy new paradigm. It's because it's the way things work in the real world. And we want people to be able to do that, but have decentralization. So this sort of censorship and censorship resistance at the same time that you're having these privacy guarantees. That excites me a lot.
Thing I'd like to kind of call back to what we were talking about before was how there's kind of social elements inside of Stashh as a marketplace. And that's a really deliberate thing. And that calls back into this concept of taking things from the real world online. So taking a marketplace online makes sense to have a social aspect, because marketplaces are inherently social places. You go there, there's other people, you trade with them, you talk to them. When that goes online and you lose all of that, some fundamental aspect of it is lost. So I think that's a really, really good point, and it's something that we always try and put at the center of what we're trying to do.
For sure. I brought up Lorem Ipsum up here. Did you have a question, or did you want to just join the conversation?
Yeah, hey guys, Geeks team is here. Just wanted to express the love to Secret Pages. Our team is just super excited about this. and we've been promoting secret pages to other outside communities. And we also have found a really nice use case for secret pages for our team. So we have a metaverse, and people come there and paint over the walls their murals, graffiti, and so on. And at some point of time, it's all covered up with those graffiti murals. And we decided to clean the location and to keep those beautiful murals. Some of them are really, really good. We are minting them for the communities, for wider communities, so everyone could claim them, keep them, like immortalize them. And it's really a matter of imagination. Different communities can use secret pages to make their communities super special, that they can share something like some private information there, some things that are specific to the communities. So it's a really, really nice tech that you have come up with. So good job, team.
Awesome. Well, thank you for the feedback. I mean, that's really great. And it was awesome to have you guys up here on Secret Spaces the other week talking about your metaverse. I think that was just an awesome look. And if people haven't listened to it, we do upload all of our Secret Spaces to the Secret YouTube, and they can be listened to again here on Twitter. So go and check those out. I got one more speaker to bring up here on stage who's requesting. Go ahead, sir.
Hey, I have a question. Thanks for bringing me up. I'm just a lowly kickboxer from Texas training. I'm training for the first annual raccoon charity fight, but I did lose my eye, so I have an eye patch in the Bad Kids meme war. But I'm here, and I have a really important question. When will I be able to buy or make an offer at least on unlisted NFTs? Because there's a lot of raccoon NFTs that have never been listed since they've been minted, and man, they're beautiful, and I want more of them. So I've been trying to figure out how I can, offer directly to that owner. And with the secret network, does that make it complicated? I know we've seen some developments on the Stargaze NFT marketplace where you can make an offer on a collection-wide basis, but even there, they don't have the ability yet, anyways, to make an offer specifically on one. Well, I guess they do. You can make an offer on other things that you can see on there, but I'm talking about on Stashh. Will we be able to make an offer on an unlisted NFT? Because again, there's some raccoons that I really want, and they're not listed right now.
Yeah. No, super good question, and something that's been talked about a lot as a high priority feature. When we were launching things like auctions, when we were launching things like badges, people were still asking about offers. I think the best person to answer this might be Clipart or Badrick.
Yeah, sure. So basically, offers are already done on a contract level. How it will work is you make an offer. The owner, if he decides to accept your offer, you have 24 hours to complete. You, as the offeree, have 24 hours to complete the auction. In case of any shenanigans, for instance, if it's a game NFT and you do an offer, and the owner sees, oh, I have an offer for this. Okay, let me try to gamble with this NFT on the game, and he fucks everything up, and now he accepts your offer. And that's why you have this 24-hour period to actually see if you still want the NFT or not after making the offer. So that's why it took a little bit longer to develop, because we wanted to have this drawback in case of stuff like this happen. So the contract level is done. The UI part, it's still in development, but that's basically how offer is going to work for particular NFTs. For collections, I'm not actually sure if you have that coded on the contracts. Actually, that Bedrick, do you have that? Or
yeah. So what I have on the contract level at the moment is when somebody's creating an offer, they can make an offer for a set amount for any NFT in a specific collection, or they can make an offer for a list of specific token IDs, which obviously could just be one if they only want to make an offer on one token ID. Or they can make an offer for, like as an example, like let's say they wanted an anon with a gas mask, they can make an offer for any token in that collection that has a specific like trait attribute thing. So pretty much all that would be available on day one once offers are complete.
Yes, it's fair to say that with offers, we kicked the idea around quite a bit and very quickly realized it was a lot more complicated than just sort of saying, here's some secret for your NFT. But it is a neat feature under the hood. And as Tor says, it's a priority for us to get that out next.
Offers is also something that got us thinking a lot about like so many features on platform, all these social features, because really an offer is a form of social interaction where you need a notification from somebody who's receiving the offer. How do you receive that notification if you haven't logged into Stashh for like 14 days, or if you've never logged into Stashh? Like we need a way for somebody to kind of receive that offer, and that pulls them onto platform somehow. Somebody has to be incentivized to have something set up. So Stashh also being a kind of social notification system for things revolving around non-fungible assets. Yeah, this stuff is tricky. It's not terribly straightforward, but I have to say that if the user demand is there, the team is absolutely going to find a way to get it done. So it is coming.
We've also got the additional fun of if you don't have an asset listed, we don't know who you are because your ownership of that asset is private. So we need a way to drop a notification to you without revealing who you are. So that's been a fun challenge to solve.
Sweet. Well, wonderful question. And I wish we had time for many, many more, but we got to wrap it up. So we're 7 minutes over. Thanks everybody for attending Secret Spaces. Really appreciate all the engagement. Again, remember, it is not just the Stashh of the Day running all November, but there's tons of DApp announcements on Secret coming all of November. Remember, Shade Protocol today releasing a lot more information around Shade Swap. They will be up here next week on Secret Spaces alongside the Stride team. So yes, the Secret Metaverse is growing, and it was awesome to go through that today, but we also have a lot coming on the Secret DeFi side to pay attention to. So keep coming back, keep supporting the teams, keep claiming your Secret Spaces badges to show your support. And now, of course, you can also be claiming your Stashh of the Day every single day. If you have a suggestion of an artist you want to see featured, or a community or collection you want to see featured in the Stashh of the Day, please tweet at Stashh App, tag Stashh App, tag that artist. All it ends up being is free promotion for that artist and collection. So, for example, if you love the Bad Kids and you want to see the Bad Kids be part of the Stashh of the Day program, you might want to tweet at Stashh App and tag the Bad Kids and tag your favorite Bad Kids PFP holders and see if you can't build a campaign to get them featured. We've been doing a lot of outreach to people inside the Secret ecosystem, artists we respect outside the ecosystem, but really it comes down to launching badges that the community wants to collect. So if this is something important to you, if there's collections you really love and you want to see them honored with their own Stashh of the Day badge, let us know in the Discord, on Twitter, whatever you want. We've got a lot more coming, a lot more collections that we want to see featured. So please stay tuned. Come back tomorrow for the next Stashh of the Day. We got them every day, all month. You can win your share of 10 grand and gems and rolls, everything else. Otherwise, see you next week here on Secret Spaces. One last thing, of course, I promised the raccoons. Is there anything else you want to give as a project announcement or a call to action while we still got people up here?
I just wanted to give a shout out to the community, and we wouldn't be there without you guys. And maybe just one comment, we've been using Stashh to create a community collection, and we're really happy to hear that you guys are going to enable the permissionless thing. So it's going to be much more easier for everyone on Secret, Stashh, the Cosmos ecosystem to basically be on Stashh.
I'd just like to say as well, I think that turning the murals into badges is one of the coolest use cases I've seen so far for badges. So yeah, awesome work on that. I love it.
The community is insanely creative. Please tell your friends, get them into the Secret NFT ecosystem. There's so much being built, so many other NFT-focused applications launching on the network to help build out this ecosystem. And there's a lot of crossover between the NFT ecosystem and the DeFi ecosystem. So stay tuned to see how projects like Sienna, Shade, and more. And also we did have the Secret DAO and Blizzard team up here the other week talking a bit about how they're using Secret NFTs. So you can expect all of this to really evolve a lot over the coming months. So please stay tuned, pay attention. And in the meantime, good luck collecting the stash of the day, and we will see you on next week's Secret Spaces. Thank you, everyone.
Cool. Take care. Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.